Okay, so today what we're going to be doing is looking at branding. This is a really important part of any company's bottom line, their value. First of all, what is a brand? So a brand is a product of known source. So, when you buy something from Ford, you know that it's from Ford. And the names of these organizations can also serve as a brand. So it's a really super important part of thinking about marketing. So go ahead and watch this video. Gives you some idea of uh, what a brand is. Okay, and then we're going to be talking about branding. So branding is the promotion of a particular product or company by means of advertising and a distinctive design. So of course, you know, Coca-Cola's classic, right? So go ahead and watch this video and then come back and we'll continue on. Okay, so from the IBO, they want you to understand this, that there are many different brands that are appealing to different market segments and the use of different methods to promote loyalty, which students should be able to identify. Okay, so the whole idea here is to maintain brand loyalty. Okay, so basically, this is a definition. It's where a person has a favorite supplier and prefers to buy products from them rather than from other suppliers. And this may be, even though a different supplier would be cheaper or a different supplier would have a different product range or whatever, someone's going to, for instance, someone's going to prefer, say, Starbucks over coffee bean and tea leaf, and no matter what, they're going for Starbucks and they will not drink something from coffee bean and tea leaf. Someone will be only hitting Callaway golf balls. That's all they'll use. They can only use Callaway golf balls. They will, even if some other golf balls are better, they would always choose Callaway. Even if other better golf balls are cheaper, they'll use Callaway. So that's what companies want. They want you to come back to them no matter what, and they work very, very hard to promote this loyalty. So let's see how they do that. Um, One way to do that is they try to increase the loyalty by creating market campaigns that are designed to nurture that brand loyalty. So they're going to market to people to try to kind of build that brand loyalty. And they're also going to try to market to people who are like-minded customers. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and watch this video. It's a little surprising, so make sure that you do watch it. And this is an example of this exact thing right now. They're trying to build a brand loyalty, maintain brand loyalty, and try to gain new customers. They will hire brand ambassadors. So, for instance, we've got, I showed you this before with George Clooney and Nespresso, but this is another example of that. Here's Shaquille O'Neal, and he's an ambassador for Buick in this case, and he's trying to sell you a Buick. So, and he's trying to appeal to specific market segments. So the kind of person who would, identify with Shaquille O'Neal is going to want to buy a Buick rather than, I don't know, a Chevy or something. Okay, now this is important because you can also lose brand loyalty if you don't keep up with the times, if you don't understand the marketplace, if you're not doing that research, then you can lose brand loyalty. And this is just an example of a brand that was huge. So Nokia was the sort of top cell phone makers before the iPhone came out. And just everybody, not everybody, but lots and lots and lots of people had Nokias, and people were very loyal to Nokias. But what they didn't understand was that the market changed, and they weren't doing the market research to see that market changed, and they ended up losing their loyalty. And today, they're a much smaller company because of that. So brand loyalty matters, and in order to keep brand loyalty, you need to understand the market and do a lot of market research to keep up with it. So that's very important to understand it. Market research is a very important part of maintaining brand loyalty. Okay, so I want you to understand that brands are very, very valuable. So we are talking super valuable here. Okay, so these are the top 100 brands. So just understand that. You can click on this link and see the 100. But here's the top 8. So when we're looking at this, what we're looking at is their market value. So Apple's market value, and they are very protective of this, this brand, is $234 $1,241 million, right? So we're talking $234 billion, okay, which is a lot of money, right? That is more than the GDP of many companies. So that is what they are valued. And you can see the rest of these are valued, quite highly. If, if you see these negative numbers, this is basically looking at brands over time. So this is the top brands of 2019, and they're comparing their market share, their actual value of market, um, from 2018. So Coke's down 4% from 2018, but the rest of these companies are up, 9%, 8%, et cetera, from the years before. So this is talking about market capitalization or market share, not market share, but market value. Okay, so brands are very valuable. And of course, people want to protect their brands. So it's really super important that you protect your brand and that you don't have, I mean, positive press on a brand is excellent. People love that, and it's, the kinds of things that are going to increase the value of your brand. But of course, negative press is also really bad for your brand. So this is an example. Back in the 80s, Atari was it. It was the best video game console there was. And this is an example of an Atari game. But basically, one of the things that they didn't do is they started to pump out these really bad games. So this is a classic example. E.T., the game E.T., was absolutely abysmally horrible. Everybody hated it. And basically what happened was they destroyed their brand by pumping out all of these really bad games like ET. They destroyed their brand, and they've never really recovered. So, to this day, Atari is, you don't go to the store if you say, I want a video game console, or, you're going to get a PS4, you're going to get a PlayStation, you're going to get something, but you're not going to get an Atari, right? Because they did that much damage to their brand that they just basically lost complete market share. And, you can repair these things, but it takes years and years and years, and sometimes it never recovers. In the case of Atari, never recovered. And what did? They didn't understand their market. They weren't doing enough market research. They basically said, well, no one's going to choose some other game. They're going to only choose us, and they lost out to really Nintendo is the one who really knocked them to nothing. Okay, we have to understand trademarks and registered trademarks and what's the difference between the two of them. So trademark is a symbol or word or words that are legally registered or established to use as representing a company or product. So these are the two symbols for trademarks. This is just a trademark, and this is a regular registered trademark. And so we need to understand the difference between these two. So trademark is a symbol, a word. It's used in the marketplace, and it establishes, just using it in the marketplace establishes the trademark, but it may not allow you to exclusively own it. So you can trademark something, but it may be that you don't exclusively own that trademark. In order to exclusively own the trademark, you need to register this trademark. And so you're going to register this with basically governments, okay, so countries. So by registering a trademark, this allows you to exclusively own that symbol, word, or phrase, or whatever, right? So, and within that specific jurisdiction. So if you register a trademark in the UK, then that is a registered trademark in the UK, but it may not be a registered trademark in, I don't know, the Philippines or something like that. You'd have to do it in both places. And companies will do this. If you're a transnational company, you're going to want to register your trademark in all countries that you operate in and countries that you don't operate in, because you don't want people making knockoffs of your product. Remember, it's very important that people associate your product with quality, because if they're getting knockoffs of your brand and those aren't good quality, then they won't use them anymore. They'll associate you with poor quality. So it's really important to protect your brand. Otherwise, you will lose. People will think that your brand is not well made, and then they won't want to buy it anymore. So registering a trademark allows you to exclusively use that symbol within your specific jurisdiction. Okay, a really big market for this right now is China. People are really, you know, really wanting to register their trademarks in China because China has a huge problem with knocking off products where they will make fake, Gucci, fake Prada, fake this, fake that, and that can be a huge problem there. Okay, packaging is a really important part of brand recognition. This is just a couple of examples. Here's an Amazon box, and when you see this, you know it's Amazon, and that is something that is really important. Here's another just classic example. Toblerone has the same packaging, and they've had the same packaging for years. As far as back when I was a kid, we had Toblerone, and it looks exactly the same, and the packaging is iconic. And that's something that is really important for recognition of brands. So it's something to think about as designers. We not only can we design products, but we can also design packaging, right? The designer who designed this packaging is brilliant. Everybody understands and recognizes Toblerone based on the packaging alone. So packaging, very important part of brand recognition. Okay, so global impact. So what we want to do is we want to think about the fact that on occasion products will be rebranded for different segments based on geographic location. This could be international or local. It could be urban or rural. It could be ages, depending on who you're marketing to, gender, culture, so national or subculture. And this is just an example of, it's not really rebranding, but it's appealing to different people. Pringles are Pringles are Pringles, but I've never had shrimp Pringles, or I'm not even sure what that is. Soft shell crab Pringles and seaweed Pringles. Haven't had them. So those are going to be for a different market segment than basically a national or subculture. That if those kinds of foods are going to be more appealing, and think about the colors and stuff that you see here. Okay, so um, they will use their brand and then will change it in order to appeal to different areas. You do need to be careful of this, right? So brands need to be socially and culturally aware now that they have gone global, right? Languages can cause different problems for marketers in different advertising campaigns and product labels and things like that. Like they can cause problems. If you go do a quick search on bad translations of advertising campaigns, you'll find tons where people have tried to use a marketing campaign that would work in one culture, but then is just not going to work in the language of a different culture. Colors matter, right? Like, so colors have different meanings in different cultures. If you just watch this 30-second video, you'll see that it says, do not write names. If you're marketing in Chinese, you wouldn't want to write the name of somebody in red because it might offend them, right? Like red, uh, you if you write somebody's name in red, it means they're dead, right? So go ahead and watch this video, and that kind of explains this. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later.